Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, members and officers. Thank you for making the time at earlier time than normal for this Audit and Risk Committee. I'm Julian Spence. I am the chair of this committee, and you will have noted that this is effectively an extraordinary meeting, as we only have one significant agenda item, which is obviously to approve the annual accounts of 24 and 25. Just for good order's sake, this meeting is being recorded. So could I ask members and officers to both speak loudly, because I have trouble hearing, and keep your questions and answers brief and to the point. Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to move straight to the agenda and ask Kimberly, do we have apologies for absence?
Yes, we have apologies from Councillor Higgins, Councillor Murray.
Thank you very much. And on agenda item 2, any disclosure of interests?
None received.
And any members present have any interests that they wish to disclose?
None.
Hearing none, we'll go to question 3. Any questions from members of the public?
None received.
Thank you. And agenda item 4, questions from members. Any questions received? Thank you very much. So very swiftly, we're moving on to the meat of the meeting, which is agenda item number 5, which are the annual accounts from 24 to 25. There are various recommendations for us, which we'll go through in a moment. But first, I'd like to invite Candice. Are you going to talk first? Or?
I'll do the intro, and then we'll hand over to Grant Thornton. Yes.
Thank you. So
yes.
Candice, if you could just briefly talk us through what we have.
Yes, thank you. So yes, in front of you, and we're really happy to say you've got your 24-25 accounts ready to approve by the committee. So I'll say now, thank you very much to Grant Thornton. They've been an incredible audit team, and we work really, really well together, which I think is why you're seeing these accounts ready to sign off at such an early point, really, compared to perhaps others. So within your pack, you've got the annual accounts with some changes, which are listed out in the change log of Appendix 3. You've got, as well as that, you've got the audit findings report, which I'll pass over to Paul to talk through Grant Thornton's thoughts on that. You've got a letter of representation, which we're asking you to approve, as well as the annual audit report in Appendix 6. So lots of appendixes, but overall, I think just to say from an officer point of view, it's been a really great audit process, and I think we've published, in my opinion, a really great set of accounts. And other than that, I'll just pass over to Paul from Grant Thornton, if that's okay.
Okay, could I just, before we go to Grant Thornton, just ask a couple of questions? There are obviously the AGS that is in here.
Yes.
Is the one this committee reviewed in September.
Yes.
And I believe there are the few changes that are to it are those that we discussed in September and are in the draft minutes.
Yes. Exactly.
For that, just to make sure that everyone is aware.
Yes.
Of that, but I think they're all relatively minor,
adjustments.
Amendments.
Yes.
So yes, if we could perhaps turn over to Grant Thornton.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So I'm obviously covering for Ade, who's was unable to make it tonight. So I've got Kristen with me in case there's any specific details on the content of the report. But in terms of the things I'd probably like to draw to your attention as a committee, the audit findings report, the first document that you have from us, it's 50-odd pages, so there is a lot of content in there. That's driven, I think, primarily from auditing standards. These are the things that we're required to communicate to you. So, yeah, every audit that we do will include these things. So we make sure that we reiterate our approach to materiality. We give you lots of pages on the things that we've called significant risks and other risks. So they're the things in the plan that we would have brought to the committee previously to say that these are the areas that we're focusing a lot of our work on for various reasons, either directed by standards or because they're an area of high value and a lot of complexity around how the figures are put together. So, for example, around the valuation of your assets and around your pension fund liability. So there's a lot in there. I think the things that I would probably draw to your attention would really just be to reiterate the comments that are made very early on in the headlines, so around the financial statements section on page 6 of our report. So we are the audit is substantially finished. The only thing we're waiting on now is the county pension fund auditor to provide us the letter of assurance around the pensions, which we're hoping to receive by the end of this month. And once we have that, the intention is to issue an unqualified audit opinion. So in terms of people like to compare themselves to others, it's quite human nature. You would be in the less than 50% of councils have an unqualified audit opinion, quite a lot less than 50% actually. And in terms of Surrey, the last round, 23-24, I think there was 4 districts that were in that position. So you are in a good place in terms of your accounts production and where you are under the audit cycle. So I think that probably is testament, I think, to the finance team, who obviously have produced a set of accounts that are of good quality, because there are obviously audit adjustments which we reference in the report, but these are things that are not significant. They're the type of things we would expect to see in any audit, given that local government accounts are actually quite complicated. So they're a good set of accounts, and speaking to Ade, and I think Kristen can confirm this, that there's been good engagement from the finance team as well. So it's one thing to be able to produce the numbers, but it's obviously then the second element is being able to provide the auditors with the underlying information that we require to be satisfied and to give our opinion. So I think the council is in a good place in terms of its finance function and its preparation of the accounts. So that's all I was going to say on this report. I've obviously got a couple of other documents. I'm happy to pause if there's anything specific on the audit findings report.
Thank you very much, Paul. Members, do you have any questions for Grant Thornton?
I was commenting on the report at all.
Sorry.
I have a number of issues, minor things. On page 2 of our report, we use the word immaterial. Not what it's used to mean. Well, non-material and planning and the material here. You know that. I don't know if that's I know it's a bit pedantic point and a small point, but
Yeah. So which page are we?
Page 2 of our report, the report from. Is that I don't know. It's a pedantic point. I don't know. Material? I mean, it is immaterial. But we're doing non-material in planning. I just wonder whether that was
No, no. 213.
213.
Yes.
Sorry, no, sorry, at the beginning,
No.
the Waverley report,
Yes.
2-1.
Oh, sorry, I
213.
am sorry, yeah. Sorry, seeing that, I mean, it's immaterial.
It is immaterial, but it's going to be different words in planning and we use non-material in planning.
Yeah,
Immaterial is an accounting term.
Ah, well,
It
This is fine.
is what we would regard as.
yeah, there are particular, I think it's in the Grant Thornton report also, what classifies as material. I think that personally, I think that's acceptable and something we've done in the past.
That's all, and pedantic point.
Fair enough. Sorry, Paul.
And the other thing is on the accounts themselves, the other point I'm making, that in the narrative, we say we collected 140 million council tax, of which 12.1 million was kept by the council to spend on services. Now I know that, well, it's true, but I mean, can we also then say how much of that goes to Surrey County Council, and then are they collected parish and town councils?
On the audit fee.
Yeah, no, purpose and services, page 19, page 2 of the report.
Financial headlines.
I'm sorry.
Narrative report.
Just said you. That's up a little bit.
Mhm.
There.
Yeah.
142 million, which 12.1 was kept. So
I
it doesn't
just
tell you
got-
what happened to the rest,
Yeah,
is what you mean?
yeah, that's right.
Would any officer like to comment on that? I think this is probably
It's
what
because
we've
it's-
used before.
It's what we've done before, and because obviously these accounts are to what affects Waverley. So obviously that we highlight what we receive because and how much we keep because it's how it impacts Waverley. And those numbers are available in terms of you know, how much we give to Surrey. It's all on the website in terms of how your council tax is broken down. But yeah, I take the point, but I think the reason that it's specific to Waverley is because these are Waverley sets of accounts, and so we're trying to present the picture of how Waverley are
So the
affected.
council tax you refer to, that's the overall
That's
council
the
tax,
overall.
including Surrey,
Yes.
police and so
Yes.
forth.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting, when you do that, I think, oh my God, you know. Only 2.1 million anyway, but we all know the reasons why. And the one is, and the other one that comes out is the line below, which I make the same point again with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we make a big deal, don't we, as an authority,
Mm.
of business rates, you know, being collected, but, you know, we retain very little, in fact.
That doesn't give a figure though, does it? It just says most of which.
Yeah.
Do
I
we
do
not
descriptions,
clarify?
descriptions, you know, I'm going on about it, just,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the. Because I make big deals in other areas, and yet in the narrative here, we've made
But
a deal with it.
It would be nice to know how much of the 34.6 million Waverley are actually able to keep, wouldn't it? Or is that in the figure
I
somewhere?
mean, it's in the figures,
It's
but
in the
we,
figure
it is in the, it would be within the accounts, but we can, there's no reason we can't just add that number to the narrative. That's absolutely, if we can say of which,
Yes.
instead of most, we can give you the actual number in there. That's a minor adjustment.
If you
Yeah.
can do that as a
I
minor
think that would
adjustment, I'm
be,
hearing
would be a bonus.
members of the committee would like that.
Well, yeah, makes you get a little bit consistency, doesn't it, in the narrative. I mean, no big, none of these are big deals.
No, that's
I mean, that's for
very valid
clarity really, that,
Yes.
isn't it?
Especially if somebody reading, you know, not fully au fait, whereas we are, well, allegedly fully au fait.
point.
That's it.
Any others?
That's it. Clear.
I have a couple of questions for you, Paul, if I may.
Yep.
Which were, one was, it's back on, I think you've talked about the Surrey Pension Fund and you're hoping that's going to be next month, because I know last year that held us up a little bit. So I'm encouraged by what you said there. The other thing was, I just really wanted your confirmation that you don't feel there's any danger of these subjectivities putting us over the National Audit Office backlog date. I think that's on page 156 and 181.
No, I don't. I mean, we're so close now that the only scenario that you would be impacted by the backstop legislation would be if the auditors of the pension fund were to determine that they couldn't undertake the work that they needed to do. I would like to think that that would not happen. It wouldn't be a good look for those auditors. So even if they're not able to issue an unqualified set of accounts themselves, they should really be able to do enough work to be able to satisfy the components within Surrey for the assurances that we need. So that there could be delays, but it wouldn't be a good look. So they would be quite incentivized to make sure that they are not holding up other audits. So that's why, if it came to it as well, it is possible that we could look to undertake alternative procedures.
Yeah.
That would be more onerous than receiving the assurances from the auditor, but it's something that has been looked into previously when there have been delays, because there have been some providers of audit that are no longer necessarily in the market that had produced big backlogs. So I believe that there would probably be scope for us to do the work that we needed to do were it to come to that, but we've had no message to suggest that would be the case.
Excellent. Good. Let's hope that remains the case. The other question I had was on page 180. You obviously talk about the going concern considerations. This isn't perhaps for this set of accounts, but I'm just interested in your perception of how and if those going concern considerations will be changed by any local government reorganisation next year. Should we be anticipating you having different perspectives, or is it you're not seeing anything?
That's a good question. That's a good question, actually, because the going concern, the bar in local government is slightly different to the commercial world, because if the council was bankrupt, you still would provide all the services. So you would be there would be a continuation of services. So it's a slightly different concept in the public sector. But I do think that the final year of the preparation of your accounts before, as we said, should LGR take place, would be that it would be for something to be. It would depend what the specifics around the code, but it might be that actually, I don't know off the top of my head whether as a council you would state that you're not a going concern because you are demising. I can come back with an exact. It certainly wouldn't change anything from an audit perspective of our work. It would just be a technicality if you were to state that, but you wouldn't be stating it because you don't have the financial resilience element. You would be stating it because you were ceasing to exist as an organisation.
Okay, I think if we can just flag that for as a future discussion, just to keep us abreast of any thinking that you have on that, and officers likewise.
I'd just say that we've sort of had some sit for guidance on that matter of going concern and how LGR is going to impact it. And the advice that we were given is exactly that, because services will continue. So although we're going to change who we are as an organisation, what SIPFOR is saying is, as your services continue, you're still preparing your accounts on an assumption of going concern. So yeah, we have been seeking that advice as well, also. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other councillors have any questions?
Just what happened with the survey pension scheme last year? Was that resolved?
The
Survey pension scheme?
The pension, how will that be?
How was it resolved last year? There was a delay last year, you said.
Last year, I think, Candice, you can probably confirm, we got that, was it January?
Got that January, yeah,
So,
quite last minute.
And it was fairly straightforward when it came, but I was just conscious that,
Yes.
what should we be thinking in terms of January as opposed to November or December? I hope the sooner the better, but clearly that's not in our control.
Yeah, I mean, we've got no reason. The last correspondence we had with Ernst & Young, the auditors, they told us the end of October. So they haven't come back to us and said that they're expecting a delay from that. So our assumption is that it will be as we previously agreed.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no other questions.
Councillor follows as he can.
Councillor Font.
Follows as his hand up.
Okay, thank you. I would just like to, on this, basically say thank you to both the finance team and to Grant Thornton as auditors for getting us in what must be considered a very good position. Officers, for the fact that it's unmodified, and I think that's excellent news. And Grant Thornton for the speedy way with which you have completed these accounts. And when we look at other councils, I think we should consider ourselves in a good place. So congratulations to all. With that, I'd like to take us to the recommendations. I shall just read them out.
Sorry, Joe, I think Paul, perhaps maybe you should go through the AAR as well. So are you going to go through the AAR, Paul? As well?
Yeah, I was going. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. I mean,
No, please carry on.
Yeah, so our second report is equally beefy. Let me just open it up on my screen. So the first element we've talked about is the financial statements audit. The second responsibility for the auditors is to give commentary around value for money arrangements. So this is what this report does. It's basically there's three things that we need to look at. There's There's financial sustainability, there's governance, and then there's a third catch-all: improving economy, efficiency, effectiveness. So this report is the output and the out of our work. So, and it's not dissimilar message, I think, to what we've just discussed with the audit findings report. So actually, some of the messages that are being communicated in these reports that we're issuing to every local body are having some quite significant judgments and recommendations being made around a number of things. So around financial sustainability, for example. So there's a lot of obviously pressure and stress in the system for councils to deliver their financial position with the obviously the increasing challenges that they face on demand services, and also some of the challenges that they've experienced in some of their attempts to generate income because of that. So that has created, and we'll be familiar with some of the things that we've seen in the media around some of the financial problems that councils have experienced in some of the ventures that they've undertaken. So I think that's a long-winded way of saying that this report is, again, very positive. It's not pulling out some of those messages in for Waverley. And it reflects the fact that from a financial sustainability assessment, I think we can see that while there are obviously financial challenges that are being having to be dealt with, actually the council is in a very good position to and is resilient to be able to deal with some of the pressures that they have. So, you know, despite some of the challenges and savings, there was still a surplus delivered against the net budget in the previous year. And there are still reserves that we would consider reasonable to be able to deal with any significant issue that might arise. So I'm obviously happy to take questions. There's a lot in there, but that would be the message that I would want to convey, and I want the committee to take, that actually it is a very positive report, and it reflects the fact that the council has been very stable and has been able to deliver its value for money agenda despite some of the challenges, and quite evidently a lot better than a number of your peers in the sector.
Good, thank you. Did anyone have any questions on the value for money report?
No, I think we said it all.
I
It's been managed very, very well. I think we should thank our
I-
finance
I-
team.
I would certainly go on, endorse that, and that, you know, it's a reflection of the quality of the management. And we also hope that, I think it's next month, the potential awards. So we're rooting for you all
Yes.
on that. And I think, yeah, this just shows why you've been nominated on that. So I thank you for that, and thank you, Grant Thornton. Any other particular issues that need to be raised before we go to recommendations? In which case, not sure. So with this committee, we're being asked to resolve to approve the audited 2024-25 statement of accounts as set out in the appendix, approve the proposed content of the letter of representation, authorize the Section 151 officer in consultation with me as chair of the Audit and Risk Committee to agree any immaterial changes required by the auditor to the accounts prior to signature, authorize the chair and the Section 151 officer to sign the statement of accounts for the financial year ending 31st March 2025, and finally to note the audit finding report and the interim auditor's annual report as set out in Appendix 4 and 6. Do I have members voting in favour of that resolution?
Agreed.
Agreed. And I'm not hearing anyone against. So thank you very much. Those resolutions are duly carried. I have said, having said that, I did just put on the letter of representation, the date needs to change from, still got the date of the meeting we were intending in September. So that just be changed. Richard.
Yes, just want to take the opportunity really to thank both Grant Thornton, who've done a fantastic job in the audit this year, but to Candice and the team. I mean, amazing. Again, we've got the accounts over the line with very few adjustments, and I'm hugely proud of the team and just say well done. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Richard. I've refrained from making any comments about your good self because I'm hoping and expecting you to be still here for our next audit committee meeting. So, but also thanks to you. That leaves us to, I don't think we have any matters to exclude to the press. And are there any other issues that we need to consider in exempt? I'm not seeing any.
Councillor Merriweather's got his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Councillor Merriweather? Sorry, Mark. I didn't see you on the screen.
Oh, not at all, Chair. I'm used to that. Listen, I really just wanted to endorse everything that you said about Grant Thornton, about the team, and particularly Richard Bates as well. They're all too modest by several factors. So I just wanted to congratulate everybody in the whole team for pulling this together. It was I know Grant Thornton and our team have made your life easier, but I know you've made ours easier too. So thank you all very much. That's a very good job. Well done.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I think with that, the finance teams can probably go and have a celebratory refreshments if they so should choose. And I will draw this meeting to an end. And thank